we'll find out. We're going to take a look at everybody. We're going to get the best at every position, and if we don't have people willing to make that commitment, then we'll have to make some changes.
How involved do you get with defense? I mean, you're an offensive mind, quote unquote, but do you stick your head in the meeting room every once in a while, or do you just kind of let them hire a good coordinator and let them do their thing?
Well, the only way I think you stay in the position of a head football coach is you better know offense, defense, and special teams. You better know it as good as your assistants, or at least try to. Because your team knows it. Your team knows it. If you know offense, you know defense, you know special teams, because you're in charge of the whole team. And you got to. They have to understand that all three areas are very important. And I enjoy football in general, so that's pretty easy for me.
Have you had the chance to listen to DC Sports Radio since you've been here?
Pardon me?
Have you had the chance to listen to DC Sports Radio since you've been here?
I have not even picked up the paper the last couple of days. We've been doing a lot of different things relative to evaluating, going through the contract and just talking about things in general.
So are you aware of the possible disagreement that Jason Campbell had with Clinton Portis? Are you aware of that? And if so,
yes, I am.
how would you diffuse that?
Well, I think at time that what I'll do is, talk to the football team. And we'll talk about, hey, if we got some problems or some business, we'll keep it inside. We'll keep it inside the organization. And I understand how that happens, but what you have to do is you have to talk about these problems before they happen. They happen all the time. But some organizations, they don't happen. Other organizations, they do. And I think if players will get the message that, the Redskins will stay together.
Are you a tough coach?
Questions, please?
Are you a tough coach?
I don't look like one, do I?
Mike, I know you said you didn't want you're going to give yourself time to evaluate the staff, but a guy like Jerry Gray, are you familiar with him? I mean, he has a very good reputation as a secondary coach, and he has a lot of support among players here. I mean, are you aware of what his credentials are, so to speak?
Oh, very much so. I'm aware of everybody. Every coach, that's what I do. I study coaches, I study coordinators, I know what they've done, I know where they've been. And he's got, as you mentioned, he's got a very, very good past. I'm looking forward to playing.
Mike, when you see this team, do you see 4-12 and a mad football team, or do you see, a couple of things here and there, and we could have been, or they could have been 7-9, 8-8? How do you kind of evaluate?
You are what you are. If you're 4-12, you're 4-12. I'm looking forward to going, as I mentioned before, watching a lot of film, evaluating these guys, and figuring out how we're going to get better.
What do you look for in an offensive lineman? This team hasn't really drafted or spent a lot of their draft resources in that area over the past decade, really.
Well, you got to have players up front. I don't care if it's offensive line, defensive line. You win with those big guys up front. You have to have that, so that'll always be an emphasis for me. Because you can't find teams that are successful without that.
Is that always going to be the scheme that you used in Denver, or is that, again, still an evaluation thing?
It all depends on the players that we have. We've had success doing not only zone schemes, but power schemes as well. Denver, even though it's noted to be a zone blocking scheme, there was a lot of things that Denver did outside just the zone, and we'll continue to do those type of things, and we'll evaluate that once we get a better feel for our personnel.